Good morning, Facebook family and friends, and my faithful, loyal YouTube subscribers. Today it is Sunday, September the 16th, year 2018. So over the weekend, they were protesting in Dallas about the young man who was shot and killed in his own apartment, of all places, by a police officer who claims she exited the parking garage. She's claiming she parked on the wrong floor of the parking garage. Walked out of the elevator and walked into a unit, her apartment unit that she assumed was her unit, and it was someone else's, and she then shot that individual who lived there and killed him. This man was in his own apartment. I think his name was Jean. I can't think of his man's name. I'm looking at it now. Botham Jean apartment in Dallas, Texas. So people were protesting this last night, marching up and down about the officers, the unfortunate incident. And the reason why the protesters are upset is because the police released a police report where after he was shot and killed, they searched his apartment, and in the search of his apartment, which I still don't understand why they were searching his apartment, but they searched his apartment and they found a small amount of marijuana, and they put this in his police report, and then the judge released this police report to the news media, which is kind of stupid. The report probably should not have been released. I don't see any reason why they had any reason to get a search warrant. I do understand why they got the search warrant. The man was killed in his apartment. In order for him to go in there and look at the crime scene, they had to have a warrant to go into his private apartment and look around to see what really took place, because they can't go by what she just said, and if they didn't have cameras out there, you know if this bitch was lying or not. I have a lot of questions about this police officer's actions. And my questions are not, I don't think she knew him. I think she did make a mistake in going to the wrong apartment. I think the mistake that she made, though, was assuming that this individual that was in her apartment should have been shot dead. Let's say that this individual was in her apartment, and she walked in there. Now, you are a police officer, you have a gun, you should at least turn on the light and see what's going on. I guess she didn't turn on the light. She shot first and then turned on the light and realized, ooh, I'm in the wrong apartment. Have I ever lived in an apartment building where I got off on the wrong floor in the elevator and went to the wrong apartment? Of course. Especially if all the floors look very similar. I used to live in a place called Art Center Towers in Midtown Atlanta, and all the floors look very same, so you can get off the elevator. You hit the button for your floor, and maybe somebody else was getting on it, but you're not paying attention. You get to that floor, you walk off, and next thing you know, you're at an apartment, like, oh, my key wouldn't work, which she's saying that her key didn't work. There are witnesses saying that she beat on the door saying, open up. Whether the door was ajar or something. I'm reading several different accounts of what's going on here, but there are some witnesses who have come forward and said that they heard her beating on the door and saying to come open the door. It leads me to wonder, was this woman possibly drunk when she got off from work? Has she been drinking? Did she have a drink? Did she know it's not unusual for people to get off to work and have a drink? But I just wonder, since they released the report about the marijuana in his apartment, I want to know what was her toxicology report. What was in her system at the time when she did this? I have some questions and we're not getting no answers. The Dallas police have been, and I have a serious problem with this woman being released on a $300,000 bond. I have a problem with that. She at least should have been held. It's like they worked out a sweet deal for her. She was able to turn herself in and immediately bond on a $300,000 bond. They didn't do a preliminary hearing or nothing like that, or nothing that the public, this is all was done behind the scenes. I have a serious problem with this. And I really do wonder, will we ever know what was going on in this woman's system? Was she on drugs? Was she high? Because she's the person who's at fault here, not him. He in his own damn apartment. I don't give a fuck about that little bit of marijuana they found in there. Fuck that shit. What was in her system? What was in her head? What medications was she on? Those are all questions we need to know. Because you never know what kind of medications she was on that could have created this problem where she got off on the wrong floor. Did she work all these hours? Because when she was at work, what time did she get off work? I'd like to know what time she got off work. What did she do when she got off work? What time did she arrive at the apartment building? And what time did the shooting take place? And what time did she call 911? I've been trying to research this stuff. I have not found the answers to these questions. Because that timeline kind of gives us the idea of what was going on in her head, or what possibly could have been going on in her body. Had she been drinking? Had she been doing drugs? What? We don't know. We don't know. So those protesters are angry, and I very well. I was reluctant to really do a video about this cause because I don't like the whole situation. You have a police officer who's gone into somebody's apartment and shot and killed this outstanding individual. From everything I've read and seen, videos of this man doing wonderful stuff. He's only 26 years of age. He ain't hanging out in the streets. He's in an upscale apartment complex, paying his rent. And then this incident happens where he loses his life over nothing. Being in his own apartment. You know, I have a rule. If somebody's beating on my door, knocking on my door, and I don't recognize the person, I don't open the door. And I wondered, did he open that door because this officer was beating on that door and then she turned around and shot him? If I don't know who you are, I open it. I don't care who you are knocking on it. You can be a police officer. I had plenty of police knock on his door. I did not open it. I peeked out the window and said, I don't know what they want. I went on about my damn business. If they want to get in here, tear it down. They got no warrant, and I'm not opening it up. And they proceeded to leave. I'm not opening my door for nobody. Fuck that shit. Because I've had so many people knock on my door over the years that I don't recognize them. I don't open that door. If you don't call, I have a cell phone. If you know how to call me and talk to me, then I open my door. But if you out there knocking, I know y'all ain't got time for them. Jehovah's Witness, I ain't cussing y'all. I ain't got time for none of that shit. That door ain't being open. And it's a very strict rule I have. If I'm not expecting company, unless you're delivering a package, I'm not opening up that damn door. And I think he might have made a mistake when he opened that officer was beating on the door. Opened up that door. I would have went back to bed and or at least went back to my room and called the police and said, "There's something going on. There's an officer beating on my door." But I believe he opened up that door, and that woman proceeded to shoot him because she thought she's claiming, and I don't think she's lying about that. But there was something else going on in her head that night that we don't know yet. Either this one was drunk, high, or some medication she was on. You'd be surprised what these prescription medications can do to people. I'd love to know what was in her system. We may never find that out, though. At least not yet. But it seems like his family is really pushing the issue. I hope his family pushes more so for a plea bargain on her behalf, more so than pushing this event, pushing towards a trial. For a couple of reasons. If they want a conviction, I think the best thing for her, for that family, if they really want it, is for them, and this is, I'm kind of jumping the gun on this, a plea deal would be better. But she pleads guilty to manslaughter or whatever they reduce it to in the plea deal. Because if she goes to a jury trial, if they push it that long, this is way, way out, maybe a year or two, if she decides not to take a plea. We don't know. She may not be found guilty. Juries have a difficult time, struggle with many juries. In some recent events have taken place where some juries have found some officers guilty. One in South Carolina was found guilty, if I'm correct, for shooting this guy in the back. And I think somebody in Texas was recently found guilty. So we have to see, but this is clearly, if the story is accurate as she's saying it is, which we don't know because we ain't there, and the other person who was there is dead and gone. We don't know. And if there's no video cameras, you basically just have her story, what she's claiming, the two people who were next door who heard what was going on, so what they're claiming, and then we got the dead man's story. He ain't said much at all. Only the evidence of he was in his right apartment at the time, and he did not know her, and this incident took place. So we may never really know what took place that night. a series of, because I'm reading. Let me just say this: I'm reading two stories here. One where she caught an elevator up to the wrong floor. The other where she parked her vehicle on the wrong floor and walked out towards the wrong apartment. So those are the two things I've read on the internet. So I'm not sure which one is accurate yet. But these are just two news reports. This is what they wrote in these two separate articles. So I don't know which one is correct. But did she park on the wrong floor and catch an park on the wrong floor and walk through the door, assuming she was at her unit? Again, going by the news media, and she has stayed out of the police officer who's out on bond has stayed out of the media, which is probably a good idea, based upon her actions and what she did. It's a sad situation for both parties involved. He's deceased, and he certainly shouldn't be dead at this point in his life, but he hadn't done anything wrong. A law-abiding citizen doing what, and that little marijuana, that everybody getting upset about that, please try to ignore that shit. I don't know why they released that out there. That's just nothing. That marijuana he had, I don't know what the laws are in Texas, but it wouldn't mean it made much difference what was found inside that unit. She went to the wrong unit and shot and killed this man. For no reason. Other than she went to the wrong door. And if it's accurate that she beat on that door, because she said, "Let me in," and he got up and opened that door. So then there's another incident that they said the door was kind of ajar. Now he left the door open. And she went to the door, and the door was open or something. So something's not. And I'm reading this on several different, like I said, a news report. There's all the reporting that they're doing. Something's not adding up here. Some of this stuff is probably inaccurate or incorrect, or the news is being reported incorrectly, or did her story change? Did she beat on the door? Was the door open? A lot of questions that we have not gotten answers to, and the family's still waiting to find out what happened. Hopefully, like I said, over the next few weeks, we'll get answers to these questions. This is a tough story. I was kind of, like I said, I didn't really like it. A young man in his own home, in bed sleep, or whatever he was doing in his own home at that time, and this woman comes to the wrong door, comes in there and shoots him dead. Very disturbing story, and a very disturbing indictment of society that we live in. What if there was a maintenance man in her apartment and she didn't know that maybe a flood had happened while she was gone, and they had to go into the apartment without her permission to fix something? You shoot the person in the apartment. Does this make sense? I'm just trying to understand her logic in grabbing a gun and shooting. I guess she maybe felt like maybe they're going to shoot me first, but she didn't even see a weapon. He had no weapon. He was unarmed. It was a dark apartment for what they're saying. Does it make sense to grab a gun and shoot somebody? I don't know. Can't answer that question. That goes back to, I would love to know what was going on in her mind and her body when she walked through that door, that when she got off that elevator or she got to her home, had she been drinking on some vodka and cranberry before she got there? Or worse, some damn cocaine. No, who knows what this woman was doing? We don't know, because they ain't said. But I would love to see that. His mother said that she wants to see the toxicology report, and that makes a lot of sense. What was going on in this woman's body, head, mind, when she got to that house, or got to that apartment, and grabbed her gun and shot this man dead? And what's going on with the when they released that warrant? That should have been sealed, because there was no need to release that. They're trying to throw him under the bus and he ain't did shit. It's just, I mean, I hate to think that's what they're doing, but it seems like that's what they did. I released that report, or is there some law in Texas that they have to release this information to the media or something? It just seems odd to me. Why release it? It's insignificant, and it's very unimportant at this point. He's the victim. What would be the purpose of making the victim look bad? Are they trying to, sabotage the case against, what are they trying to do? Just raises those questions in my mind. I don't know. I don't live in Texas, and I don't know their procedures there. But it didn't make no sense for them to release, to me, that was insignificant and didn't matter since they found some weed in his apartment, so what? He was in his own home, minding his business when this woman came in there and shot him dead. But anyway, so we have to see what happens over the next few weeks. And I'm glad to see people are out there protesting and saying something. Because in many instances, this woman may just get away with murder. But she's getting away with murder and actually only charged with manslaughter. So I guess we have to see what happens over the next few months or a year or two as this winds through the court system. It's just getting started. Never know what might happen. They might dismiss the charges against. Who knows? Who knows? Have to see what happens. I hope his family is ready for a fight if they want justice. Because in the United States of America, you do have to fight for justice in this country. His family's from another country. I hope they're ready to fight. And I'm sure Dallas' police department is going to quickly settle with some type of cash settlement to this woman just to silence them. And I hope once they, and you'd be surprised, it's unfortunate, but it's so true. A lot of families, when they get these cash settlements, they just kind of go on about their business because they end up, it's so, they want peace. And instead of fighting the court system, to continue to go through that pain on a daily basis, fighting for justice for your child can be very difficult for a lot of families. So they get that cash settlement, a lot of them just say, okay. And they leave the people. I hope that they continue to fight for justice for him because he didn't deserve to die in his own apartment, in his own home. But so we'll continue. I'm going to keep an eye on the story and do some more videos about that. But I am curious to see what happens next. We shall see. If you like my videos, click like, share them with family members and friends. Don't forget to do something productive with your life, because you never know in life. You never know when you're in your own home, your own apartment, and some fool come in there with a gun and shoot you dead in your own house. It's unfortunate that these type of incidents take place. And this is a very unfortunate incident that I hate happened to this young man. But anyway, I'm out of here. Today it is Sunday. It is September the 16th. The year is 2018. Go out and do something productive with your lives. I look forward to reading you all's comments and opinions about what you think took place there and what should happen to this police officer. What are your thoughts? I'm out of here. Enjoy your Sunday.